Gina Healing and Wellness Center, Beyond Direct Primary Care, is a proud sponsor of God Made Me Laugh.
Welcome to God Made Me Laugh. My name is Dr. Ivan Tirado. I am your host. And God Made Me Laugh is an exploration of those moments in life that make no sense until they make sense. And a lot of this time, the moments in life like this is moments where you have to laugh at the moment. And then you laugh at the result of the moment. So God Made Me Laugh is into that exploration. It is interesting how people react when you tell them about this. Saying like, "Oh, I have a lot of those." So if you have any of those stories, let us know in the comments. We'll be happy to, you know, read them on the podcast. Now we are celebrating. We are celebrating that our channel already got over 500 views across all the episodes. Thank you. Yeah, no, we're very happy about it, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, I have to kind of force some of my friends to watch it, and other people, but we made it to over 500 views. That's great. Thank you so much. Now, how do you handle rejection and criticism? Now, this is an important topic because actually recently I was reading the story. It was just a few days ago. I was reading the story of this uh, influencer, 19 years old, comes from a wealthy family, had a lot of followers on Instagram and TikTok, and you know how that works. And she took her life at 19 years old because of criticism and rejection. Well, we know that life is not easy. We know that life is difficult, and not everyone is going to agree with us. And actually, most people won't agree with you or your talent or your idea. But there's some people who somehow turn their story of rejection and criticism into a story of redemption and success. And I wanted to explore some of these stories and figure out what are the common denominators for this to happen, to see like, okay, I was rejected, but eventually whatever I was doing became a success. So I got some names. I wanted to write it down. Some of them I knew some of the stories. I didn't know some of them. So I wanted to write it down and share them with you. Like, for example, yeah, I don't know if you know this name, Frederick W. Smith. Frederick W. Smith just passed recently, a few years back. He was the founder of FedEx. And it's interesting because when he was in college, his business professor told him that his idea of an overnight delivery system was stupid and gave him a C on his paper. J.K. Rowling. You've probably heard this name before. She is the author of Harry Potter. I'm not a fan of Harry Potter. I think that I watched like 10 minutes of one of the movies, and that was more than enough for me. But we have to agree that it's a massive success. I mean, it is huge. Now, she was told when she tried to publish her manuscript, she was told that because she was a female, she won't know how to connect with the male community or the male audience. And she was rejected 12 different times by 12 different publishers before it was actually published. Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin, a comedian, one of my favorites. I actually used to interpret this character. I will do my own impressions of the character. Way back, and Charlie comes from way back. Also, we're talking about 100 years back. Silent movies, best comedian ever existed in silent movies, and he also transitioned into sound movies, and he was actually pretty good too. He was a fantastic comedian. He was told that he was too young to really be the man who was making this character. And not only that, at some point of his life, he went to a competition where they were doing the interpretations or the impressions of Charlie Chaplin, and he got second place. So, according to some people, there's somebody better than Charlie Chaplin to be Charlie Chaplin. Oof, Jackie Chan. You know Jackie Chan, the man does his own stunts. I mean, this guy is amazing in martial arts, great comedian. His physical comedy is beyond a lot of comedians you ever see. And also combining with the martial arts makes him unique. He was told that he will not make it in Hollywood because he did not speak good English. Well, for some of us, our English is not very good looking. Stan Lee. Stan Lee. You most know him for all these Marvel movies, and he's been in a lot of them in different cameos. But this man who just passed also recently, he was told that Spider-Man was a stupid idea. He was told that that idea of a teenage superhero who can climb walls because he was stunned by a spider was a bad idea. And I'm telling you, I am not a Marvel fan. I am a Superman fan. Right there. But you have to give it up to Stan. He did not give up. And he really impacted several generations with his idea. Well, Walt Disney. Who doesn't know Walt Disney? He was told that he had no imagination, and he got fired from a newspaper. Wow. Misty Copeland. Misty Copeland, she is a ballet dancer. I will say I am also not a big fan of ballet, but she is amazing. Probably my favorite dancer of all times. And she faced rejections because her body type was considered unconventional for a ballerina. She was told that she started too late in life. She was supposed to start younger. And she was too muscular, too short, and too dark for ballet. Shakira. Okay, so Shakira has a very unique voice. She was told by her music teacher that she will not make it in music, in the music industry, because she sang like a goat falling from a building. But she made it. I think she made it. Steven Spielberg. This guy is a legend. From E.T. to Indiana Jones and all the other movies, I mean, come on, who doesn't know Steven Spielberg? He was rejected multiple times from film school because his grades were not good. Michael Jordan, NBA superstar, was rejected 5 times from the basketball team because he didn't have enough skills. Oprah Winfrey. She was told that she was too emotional for television, that her face and her body were not made for television either. And just like that, there's hundreds of stories of people who got rejected and criticized for their talents because the talents didn't fit what people were looking for their color of their skin, for their gender, and for their ideas. Innovation will surprise a lot of people, and a lot of times, if they don't see it, they don't believe it. Now, how do we then handle and process rejection and criticism? Well, I'm going to give you a few hints of how to do this, and some of them I learned, some of them I'm learning. I might not be right in all of them, but hopefully this becomes helpful for you. Okay, so when you get rejected and criticized, do not react. Listen in humility and wait. Wait so you can examine the criticism. Wait until you can understand the rejection. Don't try to defend yourself. Don't become defensive. Just work in silence. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep improving. Keep working at it. Listen to the criticism. Sometimes people can give you hints. Now, understand the difference between a critique and criticism. Now, when you have a critique, it generally follows feedback that helps you improve. It helps you get better at what you're doing. And is very objective many of the times. And it comes out of good intentions. What people call constructive criticism is generally a way to complain about something people don't like, and they don't give you a reason for it or give you a reason to improve. Just a no, I don't like that. I actually did an experiment with my students one time. I brought sour candy, and I put sour candy on the table. And I said, well, whoever wants sour candy, please, take some sour candy. And some of the students grabbed some sour candy, and they were sitting, they were eating. And I asked the question, why do you like sour candy? And they said, well, it's like, the taste and the way that it makes my face go all like that. And it's good. I like it. Then I asked people who didn't take sour candy, and I said, like, why you didn't take any candy? Do you like sour candy? I said, no, I don't like sour candy. I said, why? Because of the taste, because of the way that it makes my face go like that. It is not good. Well, it doesn't matter if you like sour candy or not like sour candy. Sour candy won't stop being sour candy. See, that was pretty subjective. I don't like it because, I like it because, and the reasons were the same. So you're going to find a lot of that. You're going to find a lot of that. I ask my students when we do the formative evaluation of the courses, I ask, what is it that you like about the course? What is it that you don't like about the course? And they generally give the same reasons for both. I don't like it because of this, and then the other group says, I like it because of this, and it's the same thing. So you have to know and understand when is a critique and when is criticism. Now, some people might not like what you do, and that's fine. They don't have to like it. Now, one thing that is important to do is examine the source of the rejection, examine the source of the critique. Why do I say that? Because some people give their opinion, and opinions are like belly buttons. Everybody has one, and they're all different. And they want to give their opinion just because they want to give their opinion. And you're going to see that when you examine the source, you have to ask, who is this person? What are they doing? As an example of how I can do it better. And also, very important, figure out what kind of feedback they're giving based on the context. I can tell you a bunch of different stories of people who doesn't like the way I teach, but they have never been in any of my classes. I actually got told by somebody, you don't know how to teach, but they've never been in any of my classes. They never been in any of my workshops. They never been in any of my lectures. How do you know? So in things like that, you have to examine the source. Who are you? So in addition to this, one common denominator that is very important when you receive rejection and criticism, sometimes, and I have to be very humble when I say this, sometimes some of the critiques or the criticism are on the opposite side of this, is sometimes they have some kind of truth involved. So when you listen carefully, you examine the source and you examine what is told, maybe you can adjust, learn from it, and figure out what fits better. Your talents, your skills, what fits better your idea. I'm going to go with the examples of Shakira, for example. She used her voice, her very unique voice, a way that works for her. Oprah maybe was not the most contained, emotionally contained person to give you the 5 o'clock news, but she knew how to use her talent to the point that at some point she became television. So listen to the criticism. Why not? Listen to it. Maybe it can help you improve, even though you might have to figure out the feedback yourself. But sometimes you have to give it to them. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I should not do that, or I should not do it this way. Um, Maybe you can learn from it. And don't give up. Don't give up. Be authentic. Be yourself. I mean, you can refer to the previous episode when we're talking about trying to fit somebody else's mold. No, don't do that. Don't fit anybody else's mold. If you don't feel comfortable with it, just don't do it. Do something else. And because you're gonna find people who's gonna tell you that it's like, oh, you're not good enough. You're not fit for this, or you're not smart enough. I know, don't quit your day job type of thing. Now, like, your day job is making you so happy. And actually, Jim Carrey was telling he got the keynote speaker for a graduation, and he was telling the story of how his dad told him that being a comedian was not a secure job. While the dad was working in an office for many years, thinking that that was a secure job, his dad actually got fired from that job. So job security is very subjective. As a matter of fact, when I was applying for college, I'm back then I had to do paperwork, not not in the computer. It was paperwork. So I sat on the dinner table, and I'm filling out the information, the paperwork for college. What I want to do with the rest of my life, and I was applying for civil engineering. And my dad sat next to me and looked at what I was doing and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I am applying to civil engineering." And he said, "Why?" So, well, uh, I have good grades. I think I can be successful in this. The school counselor said that I should pursue something like this. And he looked at me and said, "But you love art. Why would you do anything different?" I mean, you can do civil engineering and you know have a steady check, have a job, but you're gonna be miserable because it's not what you love. It's not your passion. So of course, I was 18 at the time, and I thought that I knew everything, and I went straight to civil engineering and hated it. Hated it. There's something about calculus and physics and chemistry and that no, not my thing, not my thing. Who even measured those numbers? And pretty honest, if you don't touch the stuff, you don't need to know how fast it's gonna go anywhere. Don't touch it. Leave it there. Physics was a disaster. Actually, it was one of my worst times in college. I, I'll let you take a guess. What was my highest grade in a physics test? No, that number is too high. It was actually a 14. And actually, one of the tests that I took, I got like about 3 or 4 points because I wrote my name right. So, no, physics is not my thing. And I started taking all my electives in art. Eventually, I applied to switch departments, go into the art department, and it got rejected by the administration. They were like, big denied, red stamp on my application. But the people in the arts department, the dean, the professors, they saw my work. So they called me in and asked me, "Do you still want to be in the art department?" And I said, "Yes." So they grabbed the paper, rip it apart, threw it in the garbage, and said, "You're in." And I graduated with honors from a bachelor's in humanities in fine arts. I've been sculpting since, love art, and for a time, sculpting and painting and doing all these events, all these exhibits and workshops was my full time job. And I loved it. Now I still sculpt every now and then, and it is so relaxing. It makes me very happy. But interestingly enough, when I was doing my bachelor's in humanities in fine arts, my work got rejected from the school exhibits because it was not good enough. So when it comes to critics, when it comes to criticism, you never know what you're going to get. So you need to learn how to handle it. Now, one thing that I learned to do is when I receive criticism or rejection, I stay quiet for a little bit and then go by myself and start laughing. Yeah, I laugh at it because I know something good is going to come out of it. I know that at the end, at some point, if I stick to God's plan, my story is going to inspire somebody else, and God will make me laugh.